human design is your energetic blueprint, like the name of the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whereas it's the same as when you look at the physical body, we would say you have a genetic,
Mm-hmm.
like a physical genetic blueprint, right? Um, it's all the same, but it's some people will always understand the physical, this world and the physical more, and some people will understand the energetic world more. I think it's good to know both,
Mm-hmm.
um, because we're talking to different people that grew up in different ways, and some are educated and some are not, you know? Like I have all these degrees,
Mm-hmm.
and there's people over here, I have no degrees, but they all have equal wisdom. In it's just different. And
Yeah.
so it's an opportunity for people to know what was imprinted in their lives as a soul before they even came here to have a physical body journey. And I think it's like, I don't think I'll ever stop trying to learn about it because it teaches me more about myself and it's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and when you were talking about this workshop, because you did some at the retreats and you've done a couple of other ones on the BeFLOW platform and elsewhere, and you said, I'm learning something totally new. Like you were delving into a new area of human design. And we talked about how exciting it would be to just shine a light on another new little segment. And just to jump back to what we were talking about at the beginning here. So before we got on the call, you and I were messaging back and forth about some of the things that you were doing for BeFlow on the back end of the website. And I'm just
And I
like,
was,
okay, and then this on this page, and this on this page would be great. And could you do this here? Could you do this here? And then you shared with me that you were like, okay, I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed here. I need to focus on one thing. And it was so telling for me because I'm up here like, do, all these different things. And you're like, okay, but I dive deep. So you're going to go deep into this one thing. You're going to put all of your attention and your love and your energy into it. You're going to nail that thing, perfect that thing, and then move on to the next thing. And so it was an opportunity to see, like, okay, where's the bridge in our two styles of how we process information, right? And that was what you were starting to share.
yeah, because even if you like, what's a definition when you say the word projector? What does to project something mean? It's like I'm going to project all the information to you that
Yeah.
is needed in your splenic, which we'll talk about different authorities, whether you're emotionally defined, if you're driven by your splenic, so your information is um, it's like instant. And so literally like yeah, you're processing information back at me at like like the fastest possible splenic, right? So
Yeah.
it's literally I feel like it's a firing squad. And especially as a child, that could have been taken in a not good way for some people if they're just like this person is because I have two projector kids. That's why I'm saying that
Yeah.
I love, but I've had to learn that they're just giving me the information that they're getting very quickly, and they're not attacking me or saying like
Right.
you do all the things I say in this moment.
Yeah.
And I've had to understand that, and and vice versa. They may not understand it the other way yet for how I take information in, but you're right. It's a game changer to know. Even talking about, I mean, have you ever read the book, The Love Languages?
Yeah, I
Five
have.
love languages. So that's not four, it's five love languages, but you can bring love languages in and how you
Mhm.
receive the information and um yeah, is it filling up your love tank or not? If that person that you're working with doesn't know and then you become little frosty
Yeah.
with the situation, you can be like understanding. I mean, I think we all can be
Yeah.
more understanding of how people work.
Yeah.
But you can't do that unless you understand yourself first. And I think that's that's what the journey of life is.
Yeah.
I want to know our purpose. Why are we here? And I think that human design can explain it really beautifully. And then when you go in and you learn like how to stand in your authority of your energy and how that works with you and your gifts, you can do anything,
Mm-hmm.
and if you feel stuck that you can't do it, then you're not aligned. That's always your, right? That's always your body
Mm-hmm.
or your mind telling you, like if you feel that stuck feeling that, okay, something's not quite right. What
Yeah.
is it? And then going back to, like, I read my gene keys and my human design stuff quite often to
Mm-hmm.
bring me back into alignment because I can float away and be like, but this is how I grew up, and this is the kind of school I went to, and these are the kind of people I was around, and that made me who I am
Mm.
as a parent. And then I'm like, well, no, that's not who I am.
That's beautiful. So regularly you're reminding yourself of that truth of who you are.
Yeah, because I think if you've lived more, people's perception on time is different, but if you've lived most of your physical human life in this type of energy or going this direction, and now you're trying to live it differently,
Mm-hmm.
it is it is easy in the end. You can get and shift to the other side, but it's amazing what the body and the cells remember. They remember this, how your
Mm-hmm.
nervous system coped over time to be safe, and so it's easy to go back.
Mm.
So, sometimes you need these reminders. Now my dog's barking.
Confirmation.
You need these reminders, yeah. Like she's reminding me right now. Can I go in, please? Me inside. But we do. We need the reminders. I mean, that's why the body is speaking to us all the time, and we're anxious. We don't like it. I don't feel safe. And your body's just like, okay, so what are you going to do different?
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to let her in.
Okay.
So, a good example, like my dog barking distracts me so much. And you can say in whatever, in an audio way, visual, like any kind of energetic way. And then I'm just like, the definition of ADD, people say it's like you have you like squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
And so then like coming back to what you're talking to when that is being distracted. And I think that's why there's so many tools. Learning about your known type and how you work with other people and your energy, but the
Yeah.
root of everything, and it's as simple as who am I and what am I doing? What am I doing here and how do I interact with the collective? And
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna do in the class. We're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna make sure that you can understand your chart and how you should move through the world so that you can be the best version of yourself. I mean, that's all any of us really want.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about the difference in how people show up in the world and make decisions if they're an emotional authority versus non-emotional?
Yeah, so this is the most fascinating, I think. So you can be emotionally defined, which is over 50% of the population actually is emotionally defined. And so when it comes to decision making, these people have, I mean, we all have emotions, but these people have more extreme emotions. So they have high highs and low lows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we call them the roller coaster people. They were unfortunately called um, over emotional, like kids, like stop being so emotional, which um, is not a great thing for a parent to say, but it is what they have perceived
Yes.
because see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's a whole thing of like why people become the way they do and suppress their emotions because they didn't get to express them. So over 50% of the population, if they have these highs and these lows, they need to, when it comes to making decisions in their life, they need to wait till they get to a neutral state. And it can take a lot of years to even know, like, what does it feel like in my body to be in a neutral state?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really easy when you're high to be like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Like, that's this, I feel good. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to do all these things. And then the opposite are these like feeling really low, where you're like, you don't want to make a decision in a low either. Because sometimes you're just like, I'm going
Eating.
to eat this pint of ice cream
Yeah.
because because you're in the low and like people will recognize that they're doing this. I'm just not in a good mood. I'm gonna have my rocky road. Like that has become a thing in our society that that's what you do.
Yeah.
And so people knowing that that's just who they are and to accept in a loving way these highs and these lows and to learn to make the decisions in a neutral state. Whereas people that are called non-emotional, we still have emotions, but we are not, I'm saying we is like that would be me, like I would be considered non-emotional, you would be considered non-emotional. It just means that it's not affecting our decision making. So if someone asks you a question, your emotions are not going to be part of that decision. You're just like, hey, so we
Yeah.
can look a little more cold in our answers. We're not cold. We're
Or
very
some
emotional,
form.
loving beings.
Yeah.
It's just different. And so if you knew that about your family members or your significant other, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
Just like love languages. If you know the way that they get their love tank gets filled up,
Yeah.
then you'll have a better relationship. So
Well, and it's not necessarily what you or I've found that it's not necessarily what I would think because I'm non-emotional in my definition, yet I'm
very
quite an
emotional.
emotional, expressive person. I
Yeah.
cry, I laugh, I have all sorts of emotions. And then my husband, Chris, he is emotionally defined, but I wouldn't define him as an emotional person. So, but then
Right.
what you're describing makes so much sense because he's also a Taurus, likes to take a long, well, my perception, a long time to make a decision and to really feel into what he feels about something. It's like, let's buy a house. Right, me. I'm like, let's buy a house. Let's buy that one. It's cute. And he's like, let's really
Give me
spend some
six
time
months and
thinking
I'll tell
about
you
it.
my answer.
Right? It took him 10 years to decide to get this
Yeah.
big tattoo on his back. He just likes to take time. Even if we're having a big discussion, he will take some time to reflect on how he feels. Whereas I'm like, let's talk about this right now. Go, go, go. But similar to when you and I are talking about working on the back end of the website, I've learned about Chris that it works better if I am going to have a discussion with him about something meaningful to pick one topic because I could pick a topic and then go to the next one and then go to the next one. Big topics, right?
Yeah.
But understanding those differences between us has served our relationship so well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super interesting. And I'll probably bring this up in the class a little bit, but I mean, everyone in my family is emotionally defined except me. And
Hmm.
so I really feel like I have felt like an outsider in some ways that I'm different. And
Hmm.
you know, I would beat myself up about it. And I think it's the same feeling I felt as a kid,
Mm.
you know, and it's not only just the emotional part, it can be in any aspect of why we're different than someone else. And that if in that environment you're in the minority, it makes you, I don't know why, but for some reason we've been conformed that you're lesser, you're not as important or um whatever. So that's just in my how I'm processing and thinking about it. It's not true at all.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
so interesting,
Well, that belonging piece, right? And I mean, that's what BeFLOW is all about. I'm an Aquarius, and so I'm like, let's create a community that's all about belonging
right?
and bring everybody together. And it really is such a key piece. I know for myself that when I was growing up, I felt like I didn't fit in and I didn't belong. And learning more about my human design, I see now that I've got as a projector, I've got a finite amount of energy. And once it's depleted, it's gone until I
Right.
can go and recharge. Whereas there's all these like generators out there, manifesting
Like we're
generators.
still going, let's go.
They're
And she's like,
partying all
ah,
night. Yeah, and I would feel like I was missing out. Like I didn't really go out, as
right,
a teenager and stay up all night. I was like, well, time for bed.
right. And
Yeah.
you can feel bad because you're making a decision which really is what's best for you. So when
Hmm.
you learn that and you don't feel shame about that, then you're it's like ding ding ding. Then you got a winner.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's super interesting because you said at the beginning over 50% of the population is emotionally defined. And
Right.
we're living in this world where everybody's being rushed through making decisions. There's a bit of a disconnect or a mismatch there. Like, what would happen if all these people that are emotionally defined were given the space to take all the time they need
Yeah.
to come to a neutral place and then make a decision and move forward? I imagine that people would probably feel a lot more aligned with their heart and with their true self and be able to listen to their intuition more.
Emotionally defined people are going to be so much more creative in ways that I'm not because
Hmm.
they're always tapped into their emotions where I believe we can tap in and out a little more
Ah, right.
those emotions
Yeah.
unless you grew up and you learned to totally tap out, which I'm trying to tap back in.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's really fascinating.
Yeah. Amazing. And it's so interesting because even just in this conversation, I'm making connections in my marriage with Chris. Things that you're saying right now, I'm just like, oh, okay, I can see how that shows up in his life as an emotionally defined person, or in my life as non-emotionally defined. And then again, I think about my extended family and even the dynamics, in BeFLOW, which is my work. So there are so many places that people could utilize this information in their work environment as well as their personal relationships, their extended family. Like dynamics with siblings and parents can be so multi-layered. So it's really interesting to be able to look at all these different areas.
Well, even like we were talking about in the beginning with working on the website, each type processes the energetic information at faster and slower rates. So, like all of my kids being emotionally defined, it's like something happens, right? And we
Mhm.
need to talk about it and the incident or whatever happened. And um, some of them need 3 days, some of them need a week of processing time just to even know how to even verbalize how
Wow.
they feel or what the experience is. And to me, it's like it has been in the past, anyways, like excruciating. Like I
Mhm.
just like I want to talk about right now. I want to talk about right now.
Yep. I can relate to
Or I'll
that.
give you 24 hours. Isn't that enough time to you know? And
Yeah.
so I think that that's the part processing, emotionally processing, I'm saying too.
Yep.
There's lots of different processing that our body has to do, audio, visual, like different.
Well, this is the thing that I love about human design. And I mean, truly, I'm learning most of it through my connection with you over the past year, well, year and a half now, I guess. And it's just such a beautiful way to deepen our understanding and to see each other as perfect, whole, complete people that we are, and just say, "Oh, okay, Jen processes things a little differently. This is awesome. How can I show up in a way that's supportive for you in how you do life? Okay, great. And then how can we co-create in something really cool over here with some other people? And then how can we all come together as a group and have it serve and uplift everyone?" This is the thing that I find really, really interesting about human design and about the way that you present it. And actually, like the word that's coming to mind is parcel it. So it's not just this massive information. It's like, okay, well, let's just delve into this piece. Let's explore this today. This is pretty cool. Okay, let's talk
Yeah.
about this aspect.
Yeah.